So one of the things that happens when you exercise is your muscles produce CO2. And CO2 is released into your muscles and causes the blood vessels surrounding your muscles to dilate because it signals them to kind of increase oxygen to that area. Also, when you increase CO2 in your blood, the CO2 dissolves into the blood and creates carbonic acid, which is acidic. So as CO2 levels increase in your blood, your body becomes more acidic. That acidity triggers the lung to start breathing harder. And as you breathe harder, you release CO2. And that CO2 helps, and that over-breathing helps drop the acidity level and make your body more alkaline. And that's the balance between the two. There's this buffering system that happens in your blood. And it's one of the benefits of exercise. All this is coordinated by your nervous system. So while you're exercising, you're stimulating your nervous system. You can mimic that by doing breathing exercises, by holding your breath, and by hyperventilating. There are 3 ways that you can breath hold. One is with an empty set of lungs, one is with a full set of lungs, and one is after hyperventilating. With an empty breath hold, before I talk about empty breath hold, let's talk about how the lungs work. Gas exchange happens in your lung passively, which basically just means air molecules in the air go into your body because there's more oxygen outside than oxygen on the inside of your body. It just passively diffuses through your lung membranes. The CO2 is the same way. It goes from an area of high density to an area of low density. High density in your blood diffuses to low density in the air. So it's not an active process, it's just passive. It's basically what's in your lung gets diffused in your body, what's in your body gets diffused into your lungs. This happens only at the membranes of the lungs, right? So we have this full chest, we have this full sinus cavities, but the gas exchange only happens in the alveolar sacs, the small linings of the lungs. What that means is you have a lot of dead space. Dead space forces the body to retain CO2. So when you breathe and you exhale, you're not really exhaling all your CO2. Some of that is staying in your lungs. Some of that is staying in your sinuses. And then when you breathe in again, that ratio causes the diffusion to be less efficient. One of the benefits about doing qigong breathing or slow breathing or full exhales is if you can get a full exhale, when you breathe in, you're not retaining CO2, so you're getting better oxygen diffusion into the body. If you do full breaths quickly, what happens is you hyperventilate. If you take an oximeter and put it on your fingers, your blood oxygen level is already around 90%. If you overbreathe, you're not bringing in more oxygen. What you're doing is you're releasing CO2. So hyperventilation doesn't really oxygenate the body, it just decreases the amount of CO2 in your blood. This all makes sense when we start talking about the specific breath holds. So, if you want to breathe efficiently and effectively, do slow breaths with full breaths. And they found that with recovery. At a high altitude, after cycling, if you do slow abdominal breathing, you actually will recover quicker.